All rise.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Madam Clerk. I was just going to say, I see you are dressed. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by wishing everybody happy International Women's Day. Yesterday, March 8th, was International Women's Day, obviously international meaning throughout the world. So I am wearing my purple in honor thereof, and I see that my clerk got the memo as well. So maybe there'll be special dispensation today for anyone wearing purple. I see one in the back. Anyway, with that, let me welcome you to Pawtucket Municipal Traffic Court. As I always say, that about ends the good news, because each of you who is here, and we do have a full house today, but each of you who is here has been charged with a traffic violation. There's a couple things I'd like to let people know before we actually start calling the docket, and the first is about the Good Drivers Statute. So the Good Driver Statute is something we have here in Rhode Island that our neighbors and few states throughout the nation have. For instance, I know that our neighbors in Massachusetts do not. Did we find out about Connecticut?
They do not as well.
So Connecticut and Massachusetts do not have a Good Driver Statute. Here in Rhode Island, we say, if you have a clean driving record in the last 3 years, we appreciate that, and we want to reward you for that, and we can dismiss a charge against you if you have that clean driving record. So when you come forward, we'll let you know if you qualify. We'll look at your record, and if you do, there's a $25 surcharge to use the Good Driver Statute, and virtually everyone will pay $35 of court costs. Court costs fund the operation of this court. Obviously, my salary, the salary of my clerk, the officers who work here, those who use the court, the philosophy is should pay for the court, and as opposed to perhaps otherwise law-abiding citizens who are not in the court ever. So the other thing I want you to know is that you can only use the Good Driver Statute on a guilty plea, meaning that you have to feel that you are guilty of the violation. However, if you feel that you're not guilty, I also want you to know that you have all of your legal rights available to you to plead not guilty. If you wish to plead not guilty and you feel that you're not guilty of the offense, I'm going to ask you to have what we call a pretrial conference with our captain, Captain Goncalves. Perhaps there are some extenuating circumstances or something that you can work out pre-trial. If not, we'll be happy to give you a date for a trial. You'll come back. I like to keep them rather close, so it should be within about a month so that both you and the police officer who gave you the ticket remember what happened at the traffic stop. And at that time of the trial, we'll have the police officer who gave you the ticket, yourself, and any witnesses that you wish to call, and we'll do, either I or the other judge of this court, Judge Gannon, will do our best to render a fair and impartial decision at that time. I let people know that the Good Driver Statute applies only to what we call moving violation, things like stop signs and speeding. It does not apply to what I refer to as paperwork violations, such as inspection law violations or registration violations. So when you come forward, we'll let you know whether you qualify, and you can let us know how you wish to plead. And the only other thing I'll let people know is that immediately following traffic court, we will be on the docket for the Pawtucket Housing Court. So again, we do have a full house. If you're here for either of those courts, you are in the right place, and we'll do our best to get everybody in and out as quickly as we can. With that, Sergeant, would you call our first case? Morning.
Lynn McElroy. Qualifies and represented by counsel.
All right, come forward.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm Kelly McElroy, representing Lynn McElroy.
All right.
Your Honor, we'd like to pass the case for trial. Do I have a conference with
The captain, absolutely. You, of course, have all of your rights to do so. So we're going to enter a not guilty plea, pass it for trial, and we'll have you have a conference here with our captain. All right, thank you.
Walla Nori. Speedy qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Prospect. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
I was like a judge in the next class
So we can dismiss that for you if indeed the officer says that you were going 37 in a 25. And so if you wish, I can, if you are guilty of going 37, I can dismiss this for you. Is that what you would like?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to enter your guilty plea and dismiss it for you under the Good Driver Statute. There'll be $25 surcharge, $35 of court costs, $60 total, And for you and everyone else, it will appear on your record as a dismissal. Now, in Rhode Island, we'll be able to see that it was a good driver's dismissal, so you won't be able to do that again within 3 years. But it will appear for insurance purposes or other purposes as a dismissal, okay? All right, thank you for coming to court. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Kathleen Marshall. Headlight out and license to be carried. Exhibit on.
Yes, please come right through the center. Okay, good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, the first charge we'll deal with here is that you were charged with not having your license on you. Do you have a valid license? All right, would you just show the sergeant your valid license when he... Sarge, we're just looking for a valid license. Kathleen Marshall, 49 Daggett, Pawtucket.
Valid until 10/1/21.
Okay, ma'am. And I'll simply advise you and the others in the courtroom that you do have to have your license on you when you drive, so be sure to grab your pocketbook or wallet or wherever it is. So, ma'am, I'm going to dismiss that for you because you do have it, so we're going to call that dismissed for compliance. And you also have an inspection law violation in the form of a headlight. Did you fix the headlight? Do you have some proof of that, a bulb or a repair slip?
Oil pot receipt for a bulb dated 2/12.
All right, ma'am. You place that in your car. It's all working properly? Yes. All right, ma'am. We're going to dismiss that for compliance for you as well. So there'll be no fine on either of those charges, just the $35 of court costs, okay? Case is dismissed, $35 of court costs. You and everyone else go right through that door, and there should be an officer to direct you downstairs to the cashier to pay the $35. Thank you.
Yemi Rodriguez. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
I wasn't aware that it was going so fast. I was gonna wait to get sent to the hospital. I was waiting for that.
Sure, I can dismiss this for you. Like, there's a lot of good reasons why people are speeding, but it does say you were going 41 in a 25. So 41 in a 25 is over the speed limit. So even if you were taking your son, again, I can dismiss this for you if you are guilty. Your only other option is if you don't think you were going 41 for some reason, you can have a pretrial conference and come back with Officer Maciel. Okay, we're going to enter your guilty plea if you were going 41, and I'll dismiss it for you. It'll appear as a dismissal. It's $25, $35 of court costs. And again, I do hope everything is okay with your son. Was it an emergency situation? What was the emergency?
Yeah, high fever.
I don't know if you can speed for a high fever. I mean, you know, life and death, but, you know, another 3 minutes on a high fever. I understand. I don't want him. Is he feeling better now? Good. All right, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute, and I do hope your son feels better. Good luck to you.
Christina Brito. Speeding qualifies.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue, 43 in a 30. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right, thanks for your honesty, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute, $60 on the first floor. Thanks for coming to court.
Juliet Murtis. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've also been charged with speeding on Newport Ave. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty, but I want dismissal.
Absolutely. Case dismissed under the good driver statute based on your guilty plea. $60 on the first floor. Thank you.
Victoria Blessing. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Ave. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you wish to plead? All right, we're going to dismiss that case for you under the good driver statute. $25 surcharge, $35 of court costs, a total of $60.
Thank you.
All right. Excuse me one moment. Counselor DeChero, do you have a matter that is ready and formal, or? Okay, sure. Take your time. No, I do. I know we lawyers are often under pressure to get to other courts, so if I do try to take the lawyers first and get them out. But so if you're available to speak with anyone, otherwise let me know when that matter is ready and formal. Next case?
Tara Cardinal. Speeding qualifies.
The lady in purple. All right, ma'am. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right, ma'am. We're going to give you an outright dismissal for a happy International Women's Day for you for wearing purple. And the case will be dismissed upon payment of $35 of court costs, and you do have your good driver statute available to you, all right? Give one for the International Women's Day crowd.
Douglas Fisher.
Everyone's going to be trying to make their shirts into purple now. I did look out there. There aren't too many.
Speeding qualifies.
Morning, sir. All right, sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Ave. Nice, clean record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Go.
You're all set, sir. Case dismissed. Good driver statute, $60.
William Wright. Speeding because he's only been driving for 1 year.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue, but according to your driving record, you just got your license on 6/8/17. Is that correct? Were you driving before that somewhere, or?
Yeah.
Right, but no license in another state or another country, or? Huh. All right, well, because you haven't been driving for 3 years, I can't dismiss this under the good driver statute. So what I do for new drivers like that, who you actually don't have anything on your record, but you don't have the 3 years, is I would allow you, in exchange for a dismissal, to perform 10 hours of community service. If you wish to do that, and again, I do that because the fine for speeding is about $95, so if minimum wage is about $10, that's about $100 worth of work, if you will. If you'd like to perform 10 hours of community service at a charity and get a letter for me at another date explaining what you did for that charity, I would dismiss this against you. First off, to the speeding on Newport Avenue charge, how do you plead? Okay, we're going to enter your guilty plea, and would you wish to pay the fine of $95 or perform 10 hours of community service? You sure? It's going to go on your record, and that may affect your insurance rates. I thought you were a smart guy. All right, 10 hours of community service on a guilty plea, and we'll see you back in 1 month. The only thing is you have to pick a charity. You can't do this at any kind of a for-profit business or anything like that. So a charity, a church, do 10 hours of good work for the world and your community, and I will dismiss that for you. 1 month, Madam Clerk?
That brings us to Friday, April 13th at 9 a.m. Does that work for you?
Yes.
All right.
4/13/18, 9 a.m. And do get a letter from that organization, okay?
Alrighty,
Good
thank
luck
you.
to you, sir.
Julian Rivera.
That is fine.
All right, please come forward.
Morning, Your Honor. Michael Fitzgerald for Julian Rivera.
All right, good morning, Mr. DeCero, and good morning, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Rivera is here on a review ordered by Judge Gannon, my associate.
Yes.
He was supposed to go 1 year with no driving violations. Let me look at his record here.
He's had none since the September violation.
All right, that would make us all happy. So let's see, this is a violation on September 2017. So theoretically, he needs to go till September of 18, is that correct? Review for 1 year, if no violation. So he's here on a review, no violations? So then at that point, I think we'll just continue to review him until he gets to that 1 year point. Okay, so sir, you know, I wasn't the judge who initially handled your case, but you know, when we see bad driving records, we like to try to offer the carrot and the stick. And so in this case, the carrot is we won't suspend your license if you drive better. And so congratulations, at least you've gotten this far. We really appreciate that. And of course, it is important for safety that you drive well. So we'll give you another date.
3 months, Your Honor?
Yeah, we'll give you a 3-month review.
That brings us to June. We could do Friday, June 8th at 9 a.m. Does that work for you?
That's fine.
All
So
right.
if you did just complete the 30 hours of community service, if you'd like to give you the letters.
Sure, we could get that in the file, and that way we'll have that on file. So it's going to be Friday. Where did you do? McCall YMCA. All right, awesome.
And the babies go to school.
Very nice.
as well.
Very nice. All right, well, we'll keep these records. You have your copies for your file?
I don't, Judge. I don't have copies of those.
Are we able to get a copy?
Did you get?
Yeah, we'll get you copies so that we can keep it. I'll note here that The community service is complete.
Judge, you also signed up for the driver's training program. You paid the full amount. but it
Good.
hasn't been called.
Yeah, I know it takes a while to get in there, but all right, sir. Well, you know, you're lucky you have brought a lawyer here today because I know you were in danger of Colin Foot penalties, and you know the penalties, I'm sure, as your competent lawyer has told you, are very severe should you not be able to complete this 1 year. So, as I often say to people, the keys to driving are in your hand. If you continue to drive well, we'll continue to give you the privilege to drive, and I appreciate that you've taken all the other appropriate steps. But it is, you know, important that you take care of things and drive safely, okay? 6/18/2018 at 9 a.m. for your next review. Sorry, June 8th. What did I say?
Friday, June 8th.
All right, right. Well, and I wrote it right. I guess I just said it wrong. We'll give you these to make a copy for them, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
All right,
Appreciate it.
nice to see you. Next case.
Rashmi Miglani. Speed qualifiers.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. You have a nice, clean record. To that charge, how do you plead? Okay, you're all set. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Daniel Yem. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. You do have a nice, clean record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right, you're all set, sir. Case dismissed. $60 on the first floor.
George Borges. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you are in the Newport Avenue Club. To that speeding charge, how do you plead? All right, you're all set, sir. Thanks for coming to court. Case dismissed, $60.
Maryam Anna. Stop sign violation qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. I note you're purple. All right, ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with failing to stop properly Cottage at Grand. You do have a nice, clean driving record, and it appears that you have been driving for almost 50 years. Is that true? All right. Well, so, ma'am, both for a 50-year clean driving record and your purple in honor of International Women's Day, we're going to give you an outright dismissal this morning. Case dismissed, $35. You will still have your good driver statute available, though with a 50-year clean record, I can't imagine you'll need it. All right? Good luck to you, ma'am.
Joel Green. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you have been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Ave. To that charge, how do you plead? Nice, clean record. Case dismissed under the good driver statute. $60 on the first floor. Thank you, sir.
Lauren Badger. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Power Road. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute. $60.
Elias Santiago. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? Oh, you haven't been driving for 3 years. Well, you know, this is a different record that doesn't automatically show that to me, so thank you very much for your honesty. I appreciate that. Would you like to engage in 10 hours of community service? All right, sir. I'm going to enter your guilty plea and ask you to do 10 hours of community service. And again, that has to be at a like a charity, a nonprofit, or a church. Madam Clerk, do we have a 30-day review date?
Would you like it on a Friday morning, sir? All right. So get us and bring it Friday, April 13th, 8 a.m.
4/13/18 at 9 a.m. And sir, just get a letter from the charity, you know, the supervisor, whoever you're working with, just to tell me one sentence about what you did for the 10 hours, all right? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you again for your honesty. You too. Now that's refreshing to see, huh?
Alexander Medeiros.
And what is the difference in the records that I get? Like some of the records show me how long they're driving, the other ones don't. How do they pull differently?
The new rims abstract, that's why they look a little bit different. The ones we run, because
rims? Got it, got it, got it. Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, sir. Case dismissed under the good driver statute. $60 on the first floor.
Heidi Henriquez. Stephen qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on Prospect Street. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? Guilty. All right, ma'am, I'm going to enter your guilty plea and dismiss that for you. $60 on the first floor. Have a nice day.
Michael DeCiso. Stephen qualifies.
Good morning, sir. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay, sir, you're all set. Case dismissed. $60.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Elena Justanama. Stephen qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right, ma'am, you're all set. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Carlos Vargas. Stephen, driving less than 3 years.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. As the officer noted, it says here that you just got your license on 12/5/16, so you haven't been driving 3 years. First, to the speeding on School Street charge, how do you plead? Okay, sir, I'm going to enter your guilty plea and offer you the option to do 10 hours of community service or pay the $95 fine. All right, sir, smart man. We'll give you 10 hours of community service. That way it won't affect your insurance rates. Madam Clerk?
Friday morning recruitment of
413.
Friday, 413.
Okay, we're going to have a lot of reviews on 41318. We'll see you back on 41318. Get a letter from a charity. Can't be a for-profit. Thank you.
Alexandra Giorgio. Stephen qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set. Case dismissed. $60.
George Ortiz. Stephen qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with speeding on Prospect Street. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Good question.
Sure.
I have to plead not guilty. Is anything going to change the pretrial conference?
I don't know. You have to have your pretrial conference. I don't know what you might say.
Is that an opportunity?
Sure, and then if you can't work something out, you're
Yes.
welcome to come back and change your plea, or so we'll have you have a pretrial conference. I want everyone to know their rights and get an opportunity to say their side of the story. Next case.
Roberto Lopes. Stephen qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with speeding on Newport Avenue, and you have an inspection sticker violation on your record, but that is not a moving violation, so I can give you consideration under the good driver statute. To that charge, how do you wish to plead? Okay, sir, case dismissed under the good driver statute. $60. Thanks for coming to court.
Jeffrey Betters. Stephen qualifies.
Morning, sir. All right, sir, you have been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street, and you do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, sir. Case dismissed, $60.
Jose Solis. Stephen qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with speeding on Newport Avenue. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, sir. Case dismissed, $60.
Gene Long. UDC stop sign qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you have been charged by Pawtucket Police with failing to stop properly Cottage at Grand. You do have a good driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right. You're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Marianne Monahan.
morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on School Street. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Brittany Costa. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. You do have a nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed.
Jessica Scanapico. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on Prospect Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right, we'll enter your guilty plea and dismiss that for you under the good driver statute. $60.
Ismael Dorado. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? Okay, sir, thanks for your honesty. You're all set. Case dismissed, $60.
Gloria O'Donnell. Speeding to stop sign qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with failing to stop properly Cottage at Grand. You do have a clean driving record, and you are wearing purple, I see, under there. So we're going to give you an International Women's Day dismissal. Happy International Women's Day. $35. Your good driver statute is available to you, okay? All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
Call George Ortiz. Wants to do the driving statute now?
All right, sir.
It's very persuasive.
All right, sir. So I was just going to ask you, you've had an opportunity to
Guilty.
conference your case?
Yes.
All right. Case dismissed under the good driver statute. Thank you, sir. All right.
Kyle McIntyre. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you have been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Central Avenue. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, sir. Case dismissed. Thanks for your honesty.
Megan White. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, ma'am. Thanks for your honesty. Case dismissed.
Jose Miranda. Speeding, driving less than 3 years.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. The record indicates that you got your license on 10/9/15, so you haven't been driving 3 years yet. Is that correct? So, sir, my first question to the speeding charge on Newport Ave, how do you plead? Okay, we're going to enter your guilty plea, and then I'll give you the choice of doing 10 hours of community service or pay the $95. Okay, that was smart. 10 hours community service, Madam Clerk.
We'll go 5 weeks to him. We'll make that Friday, April 20th at 9 a.m. Does that work for you?
Okay, 4/20/2018 at 9 a.m. And again, pick a charity that speaks to your heart. Go do 10 hours of good work, and we'll see you back with a letter, okay? Okay, 4/20/18.
Christine Canara. Speeding qualifies.
We've got a lavender print. All right, ma'am. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Central Ave. Nice, clean driving record, and we're going to give you the International Women's Day dismissal, all right? So happy International Women's Day. Go do something nice for someone you don't know. And case dismissed, $35 on the first floor.
Sean Kent.
It's this guy in the first row that's really got me challenged. I was like, is that blue or is that lavender?
Speeding qualifies.
Only time will tell. Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. It appears that you just got your license on 4/12/17. Is that correct?
I lived in Mass, but I checked.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you did have a valid. I see that here now. Okay, so you have been driving 3 years. You do qualify for the good driver statute. To that charge, how do you plead? Okay, sir, you're all set. Case dismissed. $60 on the first floor.
Jennifer Albuquerque. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You're all set, ma'am. Thanks for coming to court. $60.
Anthony Paolillo.
Good morning, sir.
Stop sign qualifies.
All right, sir. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with failing to stop properly cottage at Grand. You do have a nice clean driving record, and I think he's got a lavender shirt, and the court should show that it's not sexist and only dismissing women's tickets on International Women's Day. So you're going to get an International Women's Day dismissal as well, sir. I'm going to dismiss your case. Your good driver statute is still available to you, and all I ask is that you go do something nice for someone else today, okay? Preferably a woman because it's International Women's Day, all right? Good luck to you, sir. $35. All right.
Cheryl Cadero. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on Prospect Street. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? Okay, case dismissed. Good driver statute. Thank you. $60.
Angela Cook. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I see you're represented by counsel here this morning. Okay, ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue, and you do have a nice clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, you're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute. Thank you for coming to court.
Thank you.
All righty.
Ione Freitas.
Another one represented by counsel.
Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. You do have a nice clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, you're all set, ma'am. Thanks for coming to court. Case dismissed. $60.
Ivan Rodriguez. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Power Road. You do have a nice clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, ma'am. Thanks for your honesty. $60.
Carol Nunes. Stop sign violation qualifies. So computer error, listed 3.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with failing to stop properly on Cottage Street. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed. Good driver statute, $60.
Holly Curtis. Speeding qualifies.
Morning.
Good morning. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. Nice clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You're all set. Case dismissed.
Timothy Duffy. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Power Road. Nice clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right, you're all set, sir. Thank you.
Nicholas Stone.
Morning, sir.
Speeding qualifies.
All right, sir. You've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Prospect Street. Clean driving record in the last 3 years. Is that true? Officer, is that true? Oh, yeah, that is true. That is true. Okay, you do make the 3 years. And to that speeding charge, did you plead guilty? All right, case dismissed under the good driving statute. You're all set, sir. Thanks for coming to court. $60. Dismissal.
Kara James. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Central Avenue. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
I think that's right.
All right, you're all set, ma'am. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mariah Glenhill. Steve qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Fountain Street at East. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right. Sorry, sounds like you have a sore throat. Case dismissed under the good driver statute, $60.
Ashley Oliveira. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. Do you have a clean driving record? To that charge, how do you plead? All right, ma'am. Thanks for coming to court. Case dismissed under the good driver statute.
Zeta Wesson. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Prospect. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? All right. Case dismissed under the good driver statute, $60 on the first floor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robbie Scruggs. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on School Street. Nice clean record. To that charge, how do you plead? Case dismissed. Thanks for coming to court. $60.
Lisa DeUga. Speeding does not qualify.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on School Street. You do have a speeding charge on your record from 4/28/17, so last year in April. So you don't have a 3-year good driving record. To this speeding charge on School Street, how do you plead? What I'm going to allow you to do, ma'am, is you can have a conference with our captain. If there's something that you can work out with the prosecution, that's fine by me, but otherwise we'll see you back for a trial. Next case.
Judy Johnson. Speeding qualifies.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with speeding on School Street. Nice, clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead? You're all set, ma'am. Thanks for coming to court. $60.
Anybody from housing?
All right.
Just one matter, it's GDS. She was unable to get up here and downstairs.
Of course, sure. So this is,
Can I have the name you were looking
yes, the matter of Gloria Duque, 1-840-850-1777. She does have a clean driving record, and I understand there were some mobility issues. I have no problem, especially if she got as far as the police station. We're going to give her consideration under the good driver statute and dismiss the matter. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have a late arrival.
William Truchon. Speeding qualifies.
Morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged by Pawtucket Police with speeding on Newport Avenue. You do have a clean driving record. To that charge, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
All right, sir. We're going to dismiss that for you under the good driver statute. Case dismissed, $60. All right. Thank you.
Just the last matter we have.
All right. Maybe I'll read the defaults, or you can read the defaults, and I'll sign off on them. So it is now almost 10 o'clock. There's one conference going on in the hallway, but other than that, it appears everybody in the courtroom is here for housing. Therefore, the following people have not shown up for their court date, and therefore they will get the maximum statutory fines that I can levy, along with court costs. I will review these matters, Madam Clerk, and sign off on them, and if you would be so kind as to read them into the record, I would appreciate that.
Tracy Madden, 18-408-501-794, speeding $131. Douglas McCabe, 18-408-501-789, speeding $131. Alexia Mendez, 18-408-501-767, turn signal $121. Timothy Myers, 18-408-501-733, speeding $131. Renee Moniz, 18-408-501-845, speeding $131. Jal Noon, 18-408-501-835, speeding $131. Delmis Azuna, 18-408-501-850, speeding, second offense, $231. Nuno Pai, 18-408-501-805, speeding $131. Mana Rosario, 17-408-511-821. This was a review hearing, Your Honor. Unfortunately, she didn't make it in, so the default judgment will be $121.
What kind of a review?
It was a
Community service?
sensor, no, it was a sensor light, I guess when the light, is that the right-hand turn to go?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the case? We're
I do
gonna
remember.
determine this, because I think she said the third car.
Let's put that, we'll
want-
do the default and put it on for another review, because if she is now just driving that kind of car, we may issue a bench warrant to go out and get her, because
No,
people
it
who
wasn't-
have,
it wasn't a
it
trial.
was a sensor issue on a car for an inspection violation. But, if she does, I don't want people to just not come in and then they get to drive their
No, it
bad
wasn't her
cars.
vehicle, it's about the red light, turn arrow.
Oh,
No, it was the turn
yes.
arrow, and
Did
she
we
was
dis-
saying the sensor was off.
Yeah.
So that's.
Did we get to the bottom of the sensor?
Yeah, you know what, it was a trial on January 19th, it was supposed to be reviewed.
Why would she get a review for that?
There was discrepancy over
Oh, yeah, and we
the
were
amount
going
of
to
time when it
review.
changes. I
Yeah,
could
no,
go back and-
I remember that. Why don't you pull that one, leave that aside till the end of court, we can make
Okay.
sure we're doing the right thing on it. I
All
thought it
right.
was an inspection law violation when I saw the
Arturo
sensor.
Rodriguez, 18-408-501-748, speeding $131. David Romano, 18-408-501-853, stop sign, $121. Kayla Ruano, 18-408-501-771, speeding $131.
You can just do the ones you have in your hand,
Okay.
and we'll be right with you, ma'am.
Ashley Santos, 18-408-501-752, speeding. Your Honor, this is actually a Colin Foot, second offense speeding.
All right,
If
we'll
they are
review
found
that one
guilty-
as well for a
Right.
possible bench
Christopher
warrant.
Souza, 18-408-501-860, stop sign, $121. Stephen Tower, 18-408-501-830, speeding $131. Brittany Ventini, 18-408-501-841, speeding $131. Jorge Vieira, 18-408-501-870, speeding $131. And a Thomas Walsh, loitering prohibited, generally it's a $50 plus the court cost, so it'll be $85. Okay, and we will go back on.
All right, that's half of our defaults, and we'll now take our last matter that was on for a conference. You want to recall that?
We call Lisa Davies.
Okay, ma'am. You've had an opportunity to conference this with the captain. You have a speeding charge on School Street. After the conference, how do you wish to plead? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty? Okay, ma'am. You only have really one other thing. You have this owner, operator, and then the speeding was dismissed. So anyway, you have a couple things. If you get more tickets, I or another judge might look at suspending your license because you have like 3 in a year. But right now, one was dismissed, so there's one. This is technically your second, okay? A third violation within 1 year, typically I would consider a suspension of license. So you only have 2, you're good, but just make sure when you're driving you realize that a third one could have more serious consequences, okay? So I'm going to admonish you to slow down and obey all of the traffic signals and signs out there. We're going to enter your guilty plea. It's a $95 fine, $35 of court costs, plus a $1 surcharge, so that's going to be $131. And again, ma'am, just do your best to drive well. Be a law-abiding citizen. Thank you.
Your Honor, if you'd like, would you like to do your housing matters?
Yeah, and then you
Can I
can
get
call
one
the,
report?
yeah, if you don't mind, that will be great. All right, so these are the remaining defaults to be read into the record, but we'll now switch is Madam Clerk's Donna Pinto.
Yes.
Is, okay. I mean, you might want to call them while Donna comes, it might get some more done, if you wish. Oh, she's right there. Okay, so now we're going to switch to the housing docket. I do that so we could get everybody on their way and not sit around while we call defaults. Good morning, Mr. Hanley.
Good morning, Your Honor. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you.
You do wear your purple, sir.
I didn't have anything lavender.
Ah, jeez. All right, so the clerk is logging on to our housing court docket and recording system. Captain, do we keep that censor case out? I want to make sure we review that at the end of housing court. I have the possible Colin Foot violation, but I want to make sure we have that censor case. See what we're doing. Madam Clerk, you'll let us know when you're on. Yeah, I'm ready.
We're on the municipal housing court docket for March 9th, 2018.
All right.
The first case is Ian LLC, 197 Pleasant Street. There are actually 4 cases in front of Your Honor today.
All right, we have Mr. Hanley here prosecuting for the city of Pawtucket. He is our building inspector and prosecutor for the housing court. Is anybody here representing that address? Come forward, yeah, okay. Okay, well, thank you for doing that. So let me understand here what has happened. There are, as we said, as the prosecutor said, 4 charges against Ian LLC, care of Shazad Ahmad, having to do with property located at 197 Pleasant Street. There are several violations, and we have no respondent. Have we properly notified the respondent?
The respondents, I believe it's the city attorney
Not
right
yet
now.
the attorney.
Okay.
He's on his way here. He's not here. I don't see him at the moment. He is on his way here.
All right, why don't we just hold this matter then until he gets here so we can have the benefit of his, or you can, I assume you want that?
I entered last week when we were here last
Sure.
week.
Okay, so we'll make sure we have his entry of appearance. Did you fill out a form?
They gave me one last week.
Okay, great. So we'll just hold that until your client gets here,
Thank
and
you.
then we'll do our best. I don't know if there's any conferencing you two need to do, but if you do, feel free.
Next case, Your Honor, is Lucia Diaz, 367 West Avenue.
Come forward.
These are environmental issues, Your Honor. We have pictures of.
All right, your name for the record, ma'am? You are Lucia Diaz? All right, you can come forward. What? Spanish. Yo hablo español, así que vamos a poder entendernos. Okay, so usted tiene cargos de varios problemas con la propiedad, más que nada bastantes cosas en la propiedad como basura y otras cosas. Tiene que limpiarlo. Espere un momento. Otras cosas son que hay.
Your Honor, some of the violations have been corrected.
Okay.
The container's lack covers, the inspector noted that was corrected. However, partially corrected was junk on the property. So the outstanding violation would be the containers are still unscreened and visible from the street. The black trash bags, most rest of the junk on the property is stacked material creating overflow.
Those are the 3 that are left?
Correct.
All right. Are you her son or something, sir? You can come forward, and we'll want to make sure that your mom understands what she needs to do. El oficial me dice que varias cosas han estado corregidos y están ya bien. Pero dice él que tres cosas todavía no están conforme. Entonces, hay bolsas negras de basura y hay, what was it? The black bags full of trash.
The containers are still
Oh,
unseen
yeah.
and visible from the street.
Los contenedores de la basura tienen que tener cubierto y no pueden estar vistos de la calle. La gente no quiere ver basura, entonces tienen que ponerlo al lado de la casa o detrás de la casa. ¿Entiende? Entonces eso es otra cosa que no estaba conforme. Y la, what was the third one?
Stacked materials creating both.
Y la otra es que tiene cosas uno encima del otro, así que, I don't know how to say rodent. How do you say rodent? Animalitos, little animals, bichos.
Pepe Gonzalez. Ándale.
Ándale just means go, go, go.
Oh, okay.
He tried. That was good. But ándale won't cut it. No, es que cosas están encima uno del otro, así que animalitos pueden vivir y esto, entonces tiene que seguir corrigiendo y limpiando la propiedad, ¿ok? How much time, cuánto tiempo necesitas para estas tres cosas? A ver qué quiere
Quiero
decir.
explicarles, somos tres los dueños, yo limpié lo que era mío, los vecinos no han limpiado nada y no es mía la basura, que una bolsa de basura negra que está enfrente sí es mía.
¿Quién
Lo
es el
demás,
dueño? She's saying that there's
no
three
lo sé.
owners. ¿Hay tres dueños?
Sí, somos tres los dueños
Porque son como
tres
condominios.
unidades,
Three
son-
condominiums.
Three condos.
Yeah.
Interesting. We don't get very many condos. But at least you came to court. Por lo menos usted vino a la corte.
Cuando
Te
llegó.
felicito. I give her credit for coming to court.
And the side ones, that's the one where the trash is, but that belongs to them, not them.
Actually, I'm just looking at the plat lot you're on, and it is plat 71, which does reflect that it is a condo.
So if she's done some things and she is here in court, why don't we cite the other owners?
Cite the whole association. Based on that, Your Honor, the city would want to withdraw this violation, and we're going to recite to the actual condo association, where she still will be a party of it.
Yeah.
As a member of the condo association, but the burden should be borne by all.
By all three. Cuando hay varios condominios, hay una asociación por ley. Entonces vamos a hacer la violación a la asociación. Así que ustedes...
¿me den explicar?
Sí.
No hay una asociación porque solo son tres unidades. Los verdaderos dueños no viven ahí, ellos rentan y las personas que han llegado a vivir arreglan carros, botan llantas, hacen, me quitan mi parqueo.
She said there really
Es
is
un
no association, that
desastre
there's
lo
that.
que
There,
estoy
so are,
viviendo.
¿usted es un dueño o no?
Yo soy una dueña.
Una
Mi
dueña.
condominio está en medio, al lado es...
Pero
una-
¿cómo dices que el dueño real no vive allá?
No,
¿Quién es?
ellos tienen una agencia
Oh, the
rentando
real
los
condo owner
condominios.
rents to somebody else, but we should have his ad, he'll be the owner. Vamos a tener su nombre porque él es dueño y el otro vive allí.
Ni uno de los dueños, los dos tienen rentados sus
So
condominios.
both of the owners have rented out the
Ellos
other
se
floors.
mudaron.
The way we may have to deal with this, Your Honor, is the site, because the actual land that it's on does not have a tax value. It's dispersed between the three owners. It's three condos dispersed by three owners.
Sure.
We may have to cite all three owners.
Yeah, let's cite them all separately, see if we can get, at least she has the respect to come to court.
Correct.
Te felicito por venir a la corte y limpiar lo tuyo. Todo lo tuyo está limpiado.
Sí, solo tengo una bolsa de basura negra que la tengo enfrente porque es hoja y una bolsa de hoja que saqué, pensé que se las iba a llevar a la ciudad, pero no se las ha llevado.
Yeah, no, she has,
Están en
one of the
bolsas
bags
de
is hers
papel.
and what is going on? She says she has a bag of leaves. I've heard that from others. What, does the city pick up leaves in the, like, there are some leaves that are still around, but will they pick up brown bags in the?
They won't pick up anything in a trash bag, I mean, in a disposable bag.
But if it's in the, well, even though it's like out of sort of summer and leaf
Yeah,
season?
I think it's only certain times of the year they'll pick them up, Your Honor.
So what do you do if you have leaves like that? Some of my neighbors have been asking
Bring them
me.
to the, there is a
Transfer
compost
station.
at the, on Grotto Avenue, you put, brush and leaves, branches, it's gotta be clean, you can't throw trash.
But the bags, you could take the bags and a brown bag full of
You could leave the whole
leaves
brown bag, it's,
on, at the transfer station on
compost,
Grotto.
correct.
No, I've been asked by several neighbors about that. Okay, so, señora, muchas gracias por venir a la corte. Vamos a mandar violaciones a los otros dueños para otra fecha para volver. Desafortunadamente vas a tener que volver hasta que podemos decidir qué hacer con todos tres y cómo vamos a...
Hay otra cosa que, ya que estoy acá, quiero explicar. Los inquilinos que llegan al lado me quitan mi parqueo y no me respetan mi derecho.
Ya. Bueno, cuando te quitan el parqueo, si tienes algo en escrito, puedes llamar a la policía para que la grúa lo lleve el auto.
Pues no sé si hay algo escrito, pero cuando compramos las propiedades dijeron, este parqueo es tuyo, esto es tuyo y esto
No.
es otro.
Debes buscar un abogado, tal vez. Este señor que está aquí del Centro para la Justicia a lo mejor le puede ayudar. Estaba en el otro caso, pero ellos ayudan a bajo costo, vamos a decir. So she says that these tenants don't respect her rights and they take her parking spot and things like that. So I explained to her that those are things we can't deal with here in court. But I encouraged her to get a lawyer, perhaps at the Center for Justice. I saw a lawyer here this morning from that organization. So we're going to postpone this a month to try to get the others in. Okay. Un mes para nosotros mandar violaciones. Yo entiendo su situación. Desafortunadamente lo compraste con gente que no está controlando sus inquilinos. They're not controlling the tenants.
Había una asociación, uno de los dueños.
Doesn't every condo, don't they have to have an association by law?
Something like that, and there must be some dues, how do they maintain the
Common
building?
areas, I don't know if every... ¿Quién hizo los condominios? Usually a lawyer has to start that process.
Nosotros los compramos a un señor portugués que los hizo y los vendió.
Anyway, you can bring in your documents the next time, perhaps we can look at them, okay? All right, 30 días, we're gonna cite the other owners, 30 days?
316.
Okay, el caso está continued to 416, continued to April 16, Abril 16, 2018, okay? All right. Gracias. Call that a status conflict.
Next case, Your Honor, is Manuel B. Barrera, 185 Park Street. This is a housing violation, Your Honor, and this is for roaches, we need pest control, and we need lead mitigation certificate for this property.
Okay, sir, your name for the record, are you Manuel Barrera? All right, Mr. Barrera, thank you for coming to court. I noticed we had a hard time getting a hold of Mr. Barrera. Do you not live at the address? You don't live there. Have you filed an out-of-city, do you live in the city?
Yes.
Okay, but have you filed an absentee landlord form? Because I just see that on my docket, we've been trying to get a hold of you for many months, probably because, oh, you were in, no problem, but we do have the right address for Mr. Barrera.
We have it as 183 East Street.
You live at 183 East? 150 Hillside. Okay. We just want you to fill out, the way it works, sir, is, I understand, you have every right to go back to your country and care for your loved ones or relax, but we need to know how to get a hold of you. And so if you don't live at that address, there's a form that's called an absentee landlord form, and it tells the city, you don't live there, don't send the notices to that property address, send them here. And then hopefully there's somebody responsible who's getting your mail, can open it and, call you in Portugal or whatever and tell you what's going on.
I can get the mail here because I have the stuff.
Sure. No, that's great. We just need to get a good address for you, and you need to fill out that form. So after court, maybe we'll have you work with one of our staff members to make sure we have the proper notice, because I just see that it's taken the court many months, really, to get a hold of you. And so we'll deal with that afterwards. Now, in terms of, we have lead certificate that's needed?
Lead certificate and pest control, both of those documents look like in order.
Okay.
I would want them reviewed. My inspector is much more familiar with the lead certificates than I am, just to make sure that they are in conformity.
Okay. So can we get a copy of that, and then we'll take a photocopy, and if everything is in conformance, you will not need to come back to court. I appreciate you coming. they'll let you know, but obviously they want to take a little bit of a look at those documents. So do we have someone who can make you a copy of his documents? And
Yeah, we can have Kelly downstairs.
okay,
Yeah.
great. You want to text her or call her? Or should we just send him down, or you want to wait for him come up, her come up? Okay. All right, sir. Thank you for coming to court. We're going to have you go downstairs and see Kelly. He's going to write a note. We'll tell you where to go. And she'll take a photocopy of those documents. And unless the city calls you back and tells you that you need to come back to court, then all of your documents will be in order. So thank you for getting the lead certificate and the exterminator certificate, okay? All right, so although we had difficulty getting a hold of you, I'm going to conditionally dismiss those matters upon payment of $35 of court costs, okay? So after you deal with Kelly, at the conclusion of this case, there'll be no fines because you did correct everything, but there'll be $35 of court costs. You understand everything, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. O meu português não é muito bom.
No, tá bom.
Okay. Dismissed upon payment of court costs.
You're gonna go right down here go down to the first floor, and come right underneath here, you're gonna go to the zoning department. Show Kelly that note, she's gonna make the copies, and she will give you the absentee landlord form that you can fill out.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Next case, Your Honor, is Nolan Lopez, 27 Wood Street. There are environmental issues, Your Honor.
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, your name for the record?
Dawn Lopez.
All right, Ms. Lopez. And are you the owner of 27 Wood Street? Okay. Ma'am, you have been charged by the zoning code and enforcement department with having junk on the property, you know, stacked materials, things need to get cleaned up. They have a number of pictures here. Have you been able to clean?
Yes, everything's been settled.
You think everything is all
The
clean?
guy came Monday and talked to my stepfather, and he said everything was fine, so never got rid of the leftover bed that was there.
Do you live there?
I lived there.
Okay. So I appreciate that you think that you have, you know, cleaned everything up. What I need to do is have the city inspector go out there. Sometimes there still are some, you know, lingering things or problems. Maybe it's all corrected. I just don't know until we have an inspector out. When was the inspector last out?
Inspector was out on 3/6, which would have been
Tuesday.
And it says seen, but it does say in progress, so.
Okay,
they
so
are
you were
making
doing it.
progress, but
All right.
it was not totally correct.
All right, so this matter was issued in January, and have you been coming to court, ma'am? I see. Have you come to court before today?
I came to court before, but I took care of everything that they asked.
But that was a while ago. I mean, on this charge that was issued, I see a number of status conferences. Were we not able to get a hold of her, or why has this been on?
No, the 2/6, I have seen, not corrected, in progress, good progress, on 2/12, 2/27, with one more week working with Public Works.
I know, but how come you weren't coming to court all those days that he's telling me about?
I didn't
No.
get nothing to come to court.
When did you get something to come to court?
I was told to come March 2nd, but they said it was postponed till today.
Yeah. Excuse me. All right, ma'am.
Sometimes we went and we talked to,
All right, Mr. Hanley, I don't know, you know, again, this has been on my docket, and that's basically, depending on how long it takes you to clean something up and how long it stays on my docket, that's how I kind of assess fines. Obviously, I see pictures that show that there were violations. However, in your case, I don't really know what happened with proper notice, so we're just going to hope that it's all complete. If it is complete, ma'am, so I'm going to write, if corrected, we'll dismiss this matter for you. I appreciate you getting that property all cleaned up upon payment of $35 of court costs, but the inspector has to go out and make sure that it in fact is corrected. If the inspector tells you that the matter is not corrected, if it's an easy fix, but if they tell you you need to come back to court, then Mr. Hanley will put this back on my docket and you'll have to come back and see me. But hopefully we can get that all.
Monday.
Okay. All right, well, who's the inspector?
It is Al Martino.
All right, and will he contact her, or how will she contact him? All right, ma'am, like I said, if it is corrected, we're going to dismiss that for you. There'll be no fines because I don't know why it took so long, but we'll overlook that. and it'll just be $35 of court costs. Do pay those court costs though, because otherwise you're gonna get a lien on your property and
Yeah.
it's not worth the $35. And we're gonna give you a card with the inspector's name on it, so call him and he'll go out. All right.
Only there, if you meet him there, he'll be able to tell you if he doesn't think it's correct, he'll be able to show you what we still need to do.
All right. Thanks a lot for your cooperation, ma'am. Next case.
Next case, Your Honor, is Manuel Coelho, 39 Fourth Avenue.
39 Foss. Where's Foss Avenue in our fair city? Oh, okay. Off of Lonsdale. All right, sir. Your name for the record?
Attorney Nicholas DeSilva, Department of Florida.
All right. Let me note the file that, what's that?
I don't know if I can find it here, Your Honor.
Nicholas De Silva.
Yes.
All right. And does your client waive his presence? Is he here or not here?
He's out of the country, Your Honor.
Okay,
He's
no
absent.
problem, as long as he waives his presence. And this has to do with an illegal third floor apartment. And are you, I mean, I notice here that this was issued in November of last year, but again, we have this problem contacting someone. So if he's not going to be here, again, he's free to live anywhere he wants. He just needs to designate someone for the city to work with so that if there are these violations, they don't stay on my calendar since last November.
Yes, Your Honor. We actually filed a variance, and that was heard January 29th. I still have yet to receive the decision.
Okay.
The board.
Sure. About how long does that take, Mr. Hanley?
Well, they should have come out, filed it, if it was heard in January, the decision should have been the first Monday in February.
I believe they did indicate that they were going to vote the week following the hearing, but I haven't seen a written decision yet, Your Honor.
Do you know how it went?
I believe probably would be denied the variance. That's my suspicion. I haven't.
They do issue a written,
They will, the problem with that, Your Honor, it takes the law department about 30 days to write it, and then
Uh-huh.
there's a 20-day appeal period after that.
sure.
I did inquire this morning before I came up to find out if they did have a decision ready, so that way.
No, all right. Well, listen, at least you are, responsibly handling this. Let's see what the decision is. You would have appeal rights on that. Obviously, if all appeals are exhausted and there is an illegal third floor apartment, your client will have to remove any indicia that it's a living space.
I have discussed that with him.
Okay.
He understands his obligations.
No problem. We're
I
gonna.
want to put on the record, Your Honor, my mea culpa for this was scheduled, I believe, February 23rd.
I see that. Yeah.
The lack of communication, mail goes to his house, I didn't receive notice that I hadn't entered, so that was my fault, I should have entered.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you have entered your appearance now. That at least we can copy you. So,
Yes.
again, people are free to live anywhere they wish to in the world, but they do have to appoint someone to deal with their properties back here in good old Pawtucket. We'll give you 1 month on this for the decision, probably, and you can then decide, hopefully, if you're appealing or not. Madam Clerk, 1 month. Continue to 4/13/18 status. All right, Mr. De Silva, thank you for coming to court for Mr. Coelho. All righty.
Next case, Your Honor, is Jose De Brito, 203 Sabin Street.
Mr. De Brito, my frequent flyer. How are you? Good, good, good.
This violation was there were several violations. It appears that the only one that has not been corrected is unregistered vehicle on the property still.
All right, Mr. De Brito.
I believe it's the one white Range Rover. Yeah, and 3 cars with no plates, a red van and a red car. It doesn't say any of them have been moved.
Sure, I do see the picture, but Mr. De Brito, thank you. It appears that you've corrected several things, and I do appreciate that. You always conform. What is going on with the vehicles?
The vehicles that doesn't have a plate has been removed.
Okay.
The Range Rover is registered in Florida. There is no plate in the front, it's in the back. It's a 2008 vehicle. And
Okay.
It's
It's properly registered in Florida,
properly
and does
registered,
Florida
just-
only require one plate?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So if that's properly registered, you should be fine, correct?
Inspected and operable.
They don't need inspection in Florida either.
Now, who's the owner of it?
I am.
because the thing about being, like, you can't have an out-of-state registration if you permanently live here.
Well, I only use that as part-time. I usually have it in the garage. I don't even take it out.
You might want to put it in the garage, because, you know, I won't be a
Well,
stickler on that, but if you live here,
Sometimes I do, but mostly I keep it in the but I'm gonna sell the vehicle anyway.
all right, because again, you can't live in Rhode Island and just have Florida plates. You have to be a Florida resident to have a vehicle registered in Florida. To be a Florida resident, you have to live down there more than 6 months of the year. So again, I'm not going to get sticky on that with you, but your best bet is to probably put it in the garage, and you know, that will be what it will be. But I will notify you of the law, which is that once you move to Rhode Island, you have 30 days to re-register a vehicle.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
All right, so Mr. DeBrito, you've done a good job cleaning things up. I appreciate that. I'm just going to postpone this on my calendar for a week so the inspector can go out. But if everything is corrected, you've done so quickly, and I'm going to dismiss these upon compliance for $35 of court costs. Okay, so you will have to pay the $35 if everything is corrected. It'll go on my calendar just for another week, and we can dismiss it at that time, or not even bring it back on the calendar. But at least we have a control date. So 1 week will be 3/16/18, but to dismiss upon compliance and $35 of court costs. All right, Mr. DeBrito, thanks for coming to court, and thanks for dealing with those cars. Keep those copies with the file, please. Next case.
Your Honor, is actually two cases, but the same. Blackstone Valley Gateways Limited, 185 Dexter Street, and Pawtucket Street Neighborhood Limited Partnership for Nickerson Street.
All right. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Your name for the record?
Yes, Mari Barros.
All right. Yes, Mari Barros. And do you work for the Blackstone Valley Gateways Partnership?
I do.
What is that? Is that a redevelopment agency, or just the owners, and that's the name you chose, or?
That's the owners. That's the name that they chose.
Okay.
We're the
So,
management agent.
so you guys are the management company of Blackstone Valley Gateways Limited regarding property located at 185 Dexter Street. Mr. Hanley, do you want to explain what the charges are before the city?
The Dexter Street issues, Your Honor, are housing violations, and I believe, one of them is that doorbells don't work, but there's possible mold under the dishwasher is what they have been cited for, and also, there's an elevator that's not working.
What is 185 Dexter? I'm trying to place that property. When you say elevator, it must be a building that
It
has
is.
several
It's,
floors.
It's in Pawtucket. It's on the corner of Barton and Dexter.
Barton and Dexter. So we've got the supermarket, the donut store,
Correct.
the Mexican
Yes,
place.
Exactly, right there, right where the Mexican
Right on the
place
side, but
is,
it's
around
fairly,
the
it's
side.
a fairly new building,
Yes.
Your Honor.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
Correct.
All right. And so are you in the process of correcting these? Do you dispute the violations? How do you admit or deny?
So the elevator has been fixed. I have been battling with the insurance company because the insurance thing, we moved the resident out of that particular unit and transferred into another unit. The insurance company still has yet to give me the approval to go ahead and do
What
more.
was was there a fire there, or why is there an insurance claim?
So there was a dishwasher that was leaking, I guess, for a very long period of time, and it actually ruined the hardwood floor and everything under it. So I do have some quotes and stuff, and it's going to cost over $20,000 to fix the issue. And so the insurance company's been giving us a really hard time. I have all of the emails that show I've been trying with the insurance
Sure.
company to go
Is
ahead.
anybody is anybody living there now?
Nobody's living there. It's a vacant unit.
Okay. So hold on, we'll just talk to Mr. Hanley here. So Mr. Hanley, it's a vacant unit. They are in discussions with the insurance company. We do have a responsible property manager here. Are there any health or safety concerns, or can we give them some time to work out their problems with the insurance company?
Could give them some time. I believe the elevator serves more than one unit.
It does, and I've gotten the elevator fixed.
Okay, the elevator's been repaired.
It's been repaired.
I
I'll
don't
note
have a
that.
problem with more time than you are.
All right, elevator repaired. I'll make a note of that. And Mr. Hanley, you may want to get some proof of that if you have. Do you have like the Obviously, they do a certificate when it's working properly. Do you have a copy of that or anything?
It was inspected when they came out, so they usually don't do a certificate
Okay.
once it's already been inspected.
All right.
But I do have, the information that they did come out and it was fixed.
One of the big problems, Ron, is Melissa, it's a secured building, so Melissa's been having issues trying
Getting
to
in.
get in there.
Okay.
So she's got Melissa's card, if you could just contact Melissa and set up a time to meet her there, she can.
It is a secure building, but that's our office.
Oh, okay.
So if she rings the doorbell, we're there from literally 8 to 5:30.
Oh, all right, so maybe you can.
Doorbells don't work, that was one.
The doorbell to the office always works.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is 2 different doorbells.
Okay, we'll make that note to Melissa. So I made a note on the docket sheet that the elevator has been repaired, and why don't we give you 60 days, that nothing with insurance companies goes too fast. So 60 days, Madam Clerk?
5/11.
Okay, May 11th, 18, we'll see you back for a status conference.
Awesome.
We have another case for you,
Yes.
Ms. Barrows.
And this is for 4 Nickerson Street, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay, and you're also the property manager for Barton Street Neighborhood Limited Partnership?
Yes.
All right, let me get this. Yasmari Barrows, property manager. Okay, and what are the nature of these charges?
This violation, Your Honor, is for mice, a pest control report.
So I have all of the invoices for that particular unit. Melissa was supposed to contact me, but I haven't heard from her. I'm sure she's busy. I have all of the invoices if you want.
So it's under pest control contract now?
It's always been under pest control contract. So it's, if we don't, what we do is if the resident calls, we send someone out. We do annual, but aside from that, the resident does have to call if there's any issues. When the resident called and responded, they've been already out 3 times since then. And we always do all 3 units just in case. 'Cause, you know, if you treat one unit, then you might spill another unit.
Can you put this for the same?
We did a 60-day review date on the other one because it was an insurance claim.
Okay, yeah, no, let's do this, let us check out Melissa.
All right, I'm going to do a conditional dismissal. I don't want to waste your time coming back. If the city does have some issue with it and if the people are continuing to complain and there's something more than the compliance that you are alleging to the court, we'll get you back. But I'm going to do a conditional dismissal upon compliance, assuming that the inspector agrees that it's been fixed. And there will be no fine for that, ma'am, just $35 of court costs, okay? All right, we'll see you back if we need to. Otherwise, good luck keeping those properties in good shape.
Yes.
Melissa may be there if you show her that contract that you have on the invoices. you
Yes.
have, That may take care of it right there. If she's not there, just tell Kelly that John sent me a copy of it. She can do this for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I would give Melissa a call just so
Yes.
you can be in contact,
Yes.
and it will probably avoid trips to court in the future.
Yes.
All right, good luck to you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Thank you.
Next case, Your Honor, is Tommy So, 37 Harrison Street.
Morning, sir. Your name for the record? All right, Mr. So.
Violation, Your Honor, and it's a housing violation.
So we're here on violations related to 37 Harrison Street. Are you the owner?
Yes,
All right, Mr. Hanley, what do you have against this property?
Violations on the exterior stairways, handrails, going up to the 2nd floor. It's not been properly maintained, once it's
Mr. So, do you live at the property or is it rental property?
I already property in Australia as mentioned, but I also have a contractor who's supposed to start doing it.
So you're fixing those problems?
Yeah.
Sure.
He was supposed to start last week.
Uh-huh.
But because he had a contract in Wood, so the house got company. The house in Madison, one of the top branch, so he's there working on.
Okay, how many floors, how many apartments are in the unit? 2 or 3?
I don't know.
2?
two-family.
2 family, and we've got a railing problem. So about how much time do you think he will need to get to your house? Are you talking weeks or months?
Let's talk about month because I already.
1 month?
Yeah, let's talk about month because he's
1 month.
supposed to start any.
Because I just worry, is this a health and safety hazard?
The railings and the stairs are a safety issue, Your Honor.
What's wrong with the stairs?
The railings.
What's wrong with the stairs, sir?
The step is, it need to be changed completely.
They'll be changed completely?
Yeah.
Because that means they're really bad if you're going to change them completely. So I don't want somebody falling through the stair and breaking a leg. You know, I got to look at that in terms of how much time I could give you. Could the contractor come out and just like shore them up and get them so that they're safer until he can come back and rip them out?
Yeah, I spoke with him even yesterday. He's supposed to come to the house there tomorrow because when I leave from work. So that's why I said just give me that month. But before that month, he will do it.
Right. I mean, I don't know the condition of the railing or the stairs, Mr. Hanley.
It's not thin, but it doesn't
That's
mean
okay.
it's not strong.
All right, hold on one moment. Perhaps we can do a 1-month review, and then your inspector, if they can look, and if they tell me that it's not safe to go a month, then we'll, you know, that's fine by me, sir. I appreciate that you are working with a contractor. A month isn't too long, unless it's a real danger, in which case I'd have you back earlier.
Myself, I thought to do it because I just want to do everything in the house.
No, that's good, that's good.
So
Who's the inspector on this? All right, we're going to give you a card with the inspector's name. I just want you to call him, meet him out at the house at your convenience sometime next week, no urgency.
Yeah.
And he'll tell Mr. Hanley if this is something that is so serious that we have to bring you back and do something more quickly than a month. I don't think so. If he says it's all set, then you don't have to come back for 1 month. You can just get those stairs fixed.
I hope so.
Okay, continued 1 month conditionally. 1 month, Madam Clerk?
Yeah.
Continue to 4/13/18 status. And again, unless Mr. Montijo says it's so serious that we have to get you back before then.
4/13?
4/13, April 13th.
Okay, I pray I will do it, but at that time I won't be here too.
Okay, where are you going?
I will be going Africa on the 4th of April and come back on the 29th.
Will it be done before the 4th?
I hope so.
So what day is the 4th? What day of the week is the 4th?
The 4th is Wednesday.
The 4th is a Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm supposed to travel from here Wednesday.
Why don't you come back on March 30th? That's the last Friday before you go to Africa.
Yeah.
And tell your contractor he's got to get it done before March 30th. So we got 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay. No, I think next week he will start.
Okay, so we're going to do March 30, 3/30/18 status.
Yeah.
And I hope get that done so you can go to Africa. And what countries are you going to in Africa or country?
I'm going Liberia.
Is that your home?
Yeah, that's my home.
All right. Well, I will see you back on the 30th, and I hope you can have this behind you so you can enjoy your home in Liberia.
Okay.
All right. See you 3/30/18. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, Your Honor, we're gonna recall the case, for 197 Pleasant Street, IAN LLC.
Ready, Your Honor.
All right. Come forward.
Attorney Robert McNeilis for the homeowner Shazad Ahmad, who's standing to my right.
All right. Come forward, the attorney for the Center for Justice. And your name again, sir?
Jordan McNeilis.
All right. And Mr. McNellis, I'm just going to ask you guys to move over a little bit so that this attorney can step up to the table as well. And let's see. This is property, all the same property?
All the same property, Your Honor.
This is
Except for
property
violation.
197 Pleasant Street, which is right where Verrier School is, right? Pleasant Street?
Correct, it's not quite that far down. But that is-
No, I know that. Okay. So 197, and the homeowner is here, represented by counsel. Mr. Hanley, do you want to just go over the violations and the status of them, and we can see where we're at?
Yes,
And
Your Honor.
remind me, have we vacated the premises such that your client's homeless or something? I heard you say that.
Your Honor, my concern is that the housing maintenance code requires that occupants be provided alternative housing before the condemnation is issued. And to my understanding, the tenant was told otherwise and has vacated the property, however, is homeless as a result of that.
All right, so first question is, does the property maintenance code require that, Mr. Hanley?
It does, Your Honor. It does say, yep, it does say that it needs to be provided. Now, what that actually means would be for the judge. Who needs to provide
Yeah,
it?
who does need to provide that, counsel?
So that is an opinion from the Superior Court stating that this municipality is actually responsible. However, I will point out that in Providence, the Providence Housing Court has been ordering the property owner to provide that to us. So I imagine either way the owner is on the hook. So.
Okay, so, thank you, sir, for bringing that to the court's attention. So why don't we go over what the violations are, where we're at, and then we'll see perhaps what we could do for this tenant.
Okay, one violation, Your Honor, is lack of proper smoke detection, monoxide detector.
All right, let me just find that one first so we can be on the same page, so to speak.
That would be case number 171883.
83. All right, I've got that. Now, that has been on my docket for a very long time. So 9/13/17 was the citation. What is the status of the smoke detection in the unit?
Not necessarily, we actually had the electrician here today from Vital Electric. He is the one that's been contracted to do a lot of the repairs here. He's a gentleman sitting to your right, Ron. So he might be able to comment, or my client might be able to comment as the smoke detection is addressed.
Yes, Your Honor, we start like last week, and I gave him like $2,500 to start. So we did like almost like in the second floor, the hallways, the basement, and the first floor.
All right. So let me ask a global question. Is it your client's intention to fix all these violations and re-rent the property? All right. And Mr. Hanley, has he been working with the city or MIA or?
Very, very, very recently been working with the city.
So where have you been, Mr.
These violations go back to September of last year.
Yeah, I know that they're long. So Mr.
Actually,
Ahmad,
August on the smoke detector.
counsel, how long have you been retained on this case?
1 week, Your Honor. Last week when we were here, we addressed that there were certain notice issues that he wasn't quite getting it. The city had a valid address, however, for Mr. Ahmad, for whatever reason, he wasn't necessarily getting some of the citations. I have agreed.
Of course, that does concern me for whatever reason. Is he just not paying attention to them?
But he is paying attention now, Your Honor.
All right.
And I have agreed to accept service from the city. They took my address last week.
All right. Sir, you're lucky you've gotten counsel because they often can help things move faster because these matters have been on my calendar far too long. Time after time, we sit here wasting our time while tenants are homeless.
Your Honor, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just also like to point out that it was actually my former clients who initiated the code report and had also been displaced.
Sure.
And during the pendency of that, the owner was actually marketing on Craigslist to re-rent the unit, but they were being forced out of the unit very soon.
Is that true?
We don't know, Your Honor. Even if it was true, past bad behavior right now, we are trying to address and come forward.
All right. All right. All right. How much time do you think you need to rectify all of these various violations?
He's saying to me 6 weeks. In my experience of dealing with some housing matters, some of those matters run a little bit long.
Why don't we put the matter down? It's vacant. Why don't we put the matter down?
I'm not sure it's vacant. My inspector,
Ooh.
Melissa, said she was out there and I asked her, is that property vacated? She said, not as of yesterday.
Are people, how many units is the property?
3 units, yes. Second floor is completely vacant.
Let me see, where did your client live?
On the third
She
floor.
moved out the third floor. I gave the security deposit back. They moved out last week. I gave them notices to everybody. Some people move out, they give their money back, and some are moving out too.
All right, and what, the nature of the charges require the property to be vacated?
Your Honor, last week we were.
Well, I see smoke detection,
We were in front
obviously.
of Judge Gann, and also there's another violation which I didn't get to in the basement, was full of debris creating a fire hazard. And there's also another pending violation which hasn't expired yet, which is going to be before this court. He actually turned into a rooming house where they're renting separate rooms on the upper floor.
So, Mr. Ahmad,
Your Honor, the basement was clean, and everything is, all the dumpsters and so on. Yes, sir.
We were in front of Judge Gannon last week, Your Honor, and at that point, the city was about to pursue a court order to terminate utilities for vacated. There's been work done without permits, it's just a mess. There electrical work, plumbing work, all done without permits, all done as far as we can tell by a non-licensed professional. We were at the point to seek an order to terminate utilities and vacate. However, the property owner stated that he would have the property vacated by today, in which case we sat on the order.
all right, 2 questions. Is the property vacated and vacant?
Second floor is completely vacant, and the first floor, there are some people moving out today.
No, I mean, I can imagine that it's not easy to move out. You gotta find exactly why we're here for the third floor.
I give their money back, few people that they wanna move out, so give their money back, they're already out.
All right.
Few people are moving out today and tomorrow weekend, and I give them the notice to everybody to.
All right. So, Mr. Ahmad, what I will say is, There are very strict rules in all of our municipalities about the way housing, must be safe, reliable. Rooming houses, I assume, violate our city ordinances. And, you don't have to have the nicest property on Pleasant Street, but you have to at least comply with our building code. And, in light of the fact that somebody is homeless, that there's evidence that you've worked without a licensed contractor. Sir, are you a licensed contractor?
Yes, I am.
All right, at least you're not working with a licensed contractor. I do hope, and obviously it will save the city money if his first floor tenants can find housing on their own. And so you're saying by Monday that first floor will be vacant? Over the weekend they're going to be able to get out? I mean, I don't want people living in squalor on the first floor. What's going on the first floor that would concern us in terms of...
Well, the smokes, the general...
Are there battery-operated smoke detectors on the first floor? Are there battery-operated smoke detectors on first? Sir, you can come forward. You may as well help us out with... That's all right. Come forward. We want to get to the bottom of this. Come right up. Your name for the record, sir?
Richard Fico, owner of Fico Electric.
All right, sir. And have you installed battery-operated smoke detection on the first floor of that property, 197 Pleasant?
I haven't, but
You have not.
there is battery-operated smoke detectors, which are individually.
Are they operational, Mr. Hanley? Do you know? All right, so we're gonna have to get an inspector out there today. I don't even want people living there over the weekend if there's no smoke detection. I mean, obviously tragedy could happen, and it's not gonna happen on my watch. So are we able to get an inspector out there today on that issue?
I'm sure we could.
Okay, so we'll just stay at the end of court. We'll figure out, maybe we can have someone go over right away or make an appointment for 2 o'clock or something.
We probably would, I think it'd be better if we make an appointment for say 2 o'clock or so in case they are not there, they can be there.
And then when the inspector goes out, it'll be working. So go in and make sure.
Can I just say exactly?
Sure.
All right. He hired me as a last week. He said he was fine. I said, I've been doing this for 36 years.
Good.
I know
You seem like you know what you're
I know
talking
the
about.
routine.
All right.
When you went in, or the inspector went in, I'm sure there's pictures of whatever we're taking, and then go over the property and show me what's.
What are the problems?
We have problems. That's fine. I said, you have a list of violations electrical wise, because
That's your
I'm only
purview.
an electrician, and what I see, what you see.
And the city, no. Do you have the list of violations, sir?
I wasn't provided a copy.
All right, so
what I
we will
did
get you those.
Was give them a price on installing the hardwire smoke detector system.
Yeah.
Which is
required, yeah.
And I gave them a $1,500 allowance as far as what I seen in the big. We didn't have any lights in the cellar. We didn't have any lights working in the hallway. We had no smoke detectors.
All right, we don't have to go through everything here in open court. I want to try to get to the bottom of it. No, I understand. No, I
address some of the
No.
issues. They will notice a change. I've been there all week working.
Oh, good.
And the permit was applied for Friday night. I have it. It's on the phone. It's been applied for. We were at Pawtucket, so my wife just got over thyroid cancer. I'm on with my permit.
All right, no, thank you for doing that. So that at 3 o'clock we're going to know about smoke detection. If smoke detection is there, are there any other violations on the first floor that I have to worry about for health and
It was
safety?
just the electrical violations throughout the
And
entire
do we have some type of paper?
Of a list, yeah, we have-
I need to address,
I don't
besides visually seeing.
Yeah, it wasn't the actual electrical inspector, it was just a housing inspector
Right.
that went out there.
Okay.
And my main concern was a lot of the work was done by a non-licensed person, which needs needs an eyeball on it
Right.
of a licensed person to determine whether it's done properly.
Go ahead, Mr. Ahmad.
Another mechanical and number guy, his name is Peter Beebe. He spoke to Mr. Allen, he's the director of plumbing.
Yep.
Yesterday, by showing all the work, and we're gonna start that like very soon next week. We're gonna
All
do
right,
the
so a
plan
number
today.
of things are in progress. I hope you understand the seriousness of this, and it is important that you have counsel so that we can make sure these things stay on track. Are there any other issues that concern you, or can we give this, I mean, they seem to be firing on all cylinders and understanding the
I
seriousness.
want 30 days.
Right, well, no, I'm
Okay,
happy
that's
that a
fine.
licensed electrician has actually been in that
The
property.
electrical seems to be the main.
Right, and saw the issues that my inspector had. So, I mean, with the smoke detectors, I still would rather no one be in there till it's 100%. But if the first floor people, he said they should be moving out today.
Let's put this on a short leash, actually. Let's do 1 week in terms of the status on whether people are living there. And if the inspector can confirm that no one is living there, we need to come back to court next week. But I am going to put on the smoke detector one, which is 1618 for status of occupancy. And I'm ordering the smoke detectors be placed and that those residents be out by next Friday or sooner if possible, okay? Tenants or out, ordered out by next Friday or sooner, sir, because the place appears to have a lot of problems.
With all due respect, my concern is with how they're being ordered out of the property without necessarily evicting them. They're essentially being ousted due to the negligence of the landlord.
That is true.
It is the landlord that is evicting them at this time. We do not have a court order in place yet to vacate the property.
Right, so my concern is that the court is instructing the property owner to force them out without court process, essentially, and he's essentially talking to them, telling the tenants that the city is condemning the property and they must leave. And the code ordinarily would require somebody to provide some relief to them before they're displaced.
Do you have a copy of the code? No, this is that court decision, which would take me a little bit to read. But even just the code. Let me see. Because does the city have any housing assistance?
We have absolutely no funds whatsoever to provide any assistance or alternate housing. We don't have any places to put people.
What do you suggest, sir?
So, a few things I could suggest. I would point out that the code does require a revolving fund for this purpose. However, I would point out that what the city of Providence has been doing has been requiring in the order that before the tenants be vacated, that the property owner provide that alternative housing.
Do you have any other properties, Mr. Ahmad?
That is a question actually I asked my client last week. I've read the decision from that's in Your Honor's hand. The pertinent paragraph seems to be paragraph 5, which goes around general laws 45, 24.3, page 2, paragraph 5, which means the municipality must make an offer of return of housing. As I have full faith that Attorney Bickman here, if I pronounce that correctly, is accurate with what Providence may be doing. I don't have any reference that Providence actually is ordering the landlords to do that. I have no reason to doubt it.
No, I would suspect that they are. So, I suppose Mr. Ahmad is paying for, repairs on his house. He could pay for alternate housing for these people, but for how long?
So the opinion says for a period of 30 days. Essentially, what you'd be doing otherwise would be going back to the tenants and saying, hey, you must leave without evicting them. And
right.
It amounts to an ousting.
Uh-huh. Well, and obviously I would like, have their security deposit, perhaps, can that be used for the alternate housing?
It could be, however, as I'm sure Your Honor knows, hotels are quite expensive and it can be a week's worth of housing.
Right. No, I would hope that they could find something else for a month, or for, if that's what, what the courts are saying is reasonable, is 30 days of housing.
Or until the property is abated, so again, it is in the property owner's control in some sense.
Right, but he's not going to be able to do these kind of repairs. And, it sounds like it's probably better for the tenants and the repairs if the tenants aren't there.
Health and safety, obviously, it's unsafe to remain in the property.
Exactly, that's why, so we'll put it down for a week. And, Mr. Ahmad, apparently the law does require that the tenants not be the one to lose out, so to speak. So I'm going to require that your client look for alternative housing for them. Obviously, it's going to be in his interest, because if not, perhaps that will be, the court would take that into consideration in terms of the fines that I might levy on these other issues. If he is able to help the tenants so that they are less displaced, so to speak, and you as an attorney, sir, perhaps you or one of your assistants at your office can be on the phone trying to find, and if you ask those people, you know, do they want to stay in Pawtucket? Do they have another, you know, if they're happy to move to another, if they don't have children in schools, they might be willing to move to Johnston. You might know of something, but I do think that the onus should be on the property owner who rented to people when they had a dump, basically, to help those people find alternate housing and not just put it all on the tenant. So we're going to postpone this matter 1 week. I'm going to order you and your client to look for and help the first floor tenant. I don't, apparently they're not represented. You could tell, I don't know if you have any ways to get in touch with them or help them or not. I'll leave that to you and them. But 1 week, and the owner to assist first floor tenants with suitable alternate housing. And again, perhaps you could work something out with the tenants and the security deposit. Though I suppose that is their money. They should, you know, they're paying. Did they pay you rent for March?
No one's paid rent for March. Apparently, this attorney's client was already returned the security deposit and $25 in the amount for a parking fee.
Okay.
The security deposit was $575. I give her like $700.
There's a $700 payment to her when she vacated. I
All
have
right.
a handwritten receipt.
Okay. And you know, I suppose if people want to take money in lieu of assistance with alternate housing, as long as some overture is made to say that you understand that it's your negligence that has caused them to have to leave the property. It's a rare case here in Pawtucket Court where it's so bad I have to vacate the premises, so it must be really bad. So 1 week for status of the first floor occupants, and you are ordered to assist them in obtaining reasonable alternate housing or some monetary settlement that they deem appropriate and acceptable. And then we'll at that point continue the matter 3 more weeks. So we'll get a month from today. We want to see exactly how far Mr. Fico, is that your name?
Yes.
Yes, we'll see how he looks like he's one of those go-getters. I think in 30 days he can have that place in electrical ship shape. All right, the 30 days after that, Madam Clerk, 30 days from today would be?
We'll move out to April 13th, Your Honor.
All right, 4/13/18, status of electrical. And then we have to talk about all these other violations. I'm going to, is there anything else that we need to do here in open court, or can you, and now we have attorneys for various parties, you could have a conference, I'll have them just, we should be done shortly here in court. You could sit down, see these various other things, you know, and if there is something that's health and safety, either, you know, bring it back to me sooner or next Friday. But there are a number of violations, and rather than go through each and every one of them, I will say again, sir, this is serious. You can't have people living in squalor. All right, does that seem reasonable, Mr. Hanley?
Yeah, the rest of the violations, Your Honor, were not imminent threats. So,
all right.
things like screens missing, little things like that. But
All right,
the
and.
issues we discussed.
All right, and sir, I do appreciate you giving me this. I will read this when I have my glasses. I'm old, I can't read it. Have you entered your appearance?
I have not.
All right.
I wasn't really sure in what capacity I'd be doing, so I've been filing motions to intervene in operations. However, I'm not actually sure if it's been treating that.
Yeah, why don't you file that motion? It's just called an entry of appearance. You could just cross it out and do motion to intervene. If you'd like to stay abreast of these and come in, I respect the work of the Center for Justice. And again, your clients really aren't here. They're out, so they don't necessarily have standing. But frankly, I appreciate that you've told me about this Superior Court decision and the city's obligation. I'll bring that up with the powers that be, and we can look at how legally we could shift that burden to the homeowners, et cetera. But Mr. Ahmad, thank you for coming to court today. Thank you for getting an attorney, and thank you for understanding the seriousness of this and hiring Mr. Fico. He seems like a reputable electrician. And hopefully, with everybody working together, we can get this property rehabbed and into ship shape so you can rent it. I mean, I want you to make some money and be a good landlord. You know, and people, God knows people need affordable housing in our city, so the sooner that property can come up to code, the better.
So are we meeting today? Or
Yeah, why don't you have a seat and you could go over the
I think
violations?
probably what would be a better
Or
thing to
at
do
3
is
o'clock?
You set up an inspection with my electrical inspector, Jim Lewis, and he can look at the property with you, and he'll.
I think I seen him this morning,
Yeah,
so
he'll
he'll probably
probably
be
go-
out of the building.
Just give him a call.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
But I might not be able to get him here at today, though.
No, it doesn't
probably
have to
not.
happen
Alright.
today.
You know, you can just set up an inspection with him
What
next
about
week.
those other violations? Are you aware of everything else that has to happen?
I would like a list to get
Okay.
what's actually there.
I filed the paperwork already.
Yeah, he did
Alright.
a request, which we just have to make copies.
Okay. So any need for them to wait now today to meet with you after court, or are you good?
I think maybe if I get in touch with Mr. Lewis, the electrical inspector, like I said, I probably won't be able to grab it. It's a Friday.
Yep.
I
No,
see
that's
him
fine.
leaving a bunch of big
That's
roll
fine.
of blueprints.
Yeah,
this
call
morning,
him.
so
I'm sure he checks his messages or
Oh,
has
yeah.
cell access.
I mean, even if it's next week, that way there, you know to the extent of what we're gonna be looking for safety issues.
Right, I'll have Jim come and do, inspection of the property with me in place. So if there isn't anything that is, printable for me to have, me and Jim can
Very
go over
good.
it, just
Very
There
good.
really isn't anything printable, because my housing inspector just listed
Electrical,
electrical
correct. I
violations
understand.
and work done without a permit, which always.
And I was trying to
done
give him
without
a
permit-
price, and it was like, well, what do we need done,
Done without a
you
permit
know?
concerns me, because that generally means it wasn't a licensed professional.
Correct,
which-
no, I understand. And Mr. Lewis does know me, I've worked with him in the past.
No, that's good, Mr.
It's-
Fico, but we are concerned about work that was done without a permit, because if it was done in a bad way, shoddy work, can be
Well, I
a
have to
hazard for fire and,
make
you know.
attention to that as
Exactly,
well.
and Pleasant Street is a busy street, we don't want to be
It is.
burning other houses down
No.
as well. All right, we'll see you back at the
All right,
dates
thank
that
you
I
very
already
much.
stated. And Mr. McNellis, thank you very much.
Just needs the case number, you all right?
We'll give it to,
883.
our clerk will put that on, and it's Mr. Mickman. All right, Mr. Mickman, we have your motion to intervene, and you're welcome to stay abreast of the progress if you wish, but thank you for providing the court with that. I'll make sure my associate justice gets it as well. Thank you. Next case.
The next case, Your Honor, is Oleg Kiskovich, 57 Jackson Street. This is environmental, Your Honor.
All righty. Come forward. Sir, your name for the record? All right, Mr. Kiskovich, and you are the owner of 57 Jackson Street?
Yes, I am.
Where is Jackson Street? All these addresses I don't know this morning. I thought I knew every street in the city of
Off of
Pawtucket.
High Street, Your Honor. It's a dead end.
Off of High Street, okay, right over here.
Yeah, it ends up butting up, I think it's the railroad tracks. all
Yeah,
behind.
sure.
It would like almost going to CBS parking lot. somewhere
Right,
in
the
that
back
area.
over in that area. Okay, Mr. Kiskovich, there are various violations alleged against that property. Do you live at that property or is it rental? Rental. All right, sir. So I always want to make sure that the rental properties are kept in reasonable conditions. We do not want anybody here in the city of Pawtucket living in squalor or bad conditions.
I'm at disadvantage because you have some information about violations. I do not.
All right, we usually
Not in the receivership of
Sure.
anything except this letter.
All right, let me
which
see that letter, please.
erroneously- which
You can give it to
erroneously,
Mr. Hanley.
Names wrong address.
Okay, so sir, here's the thing. You already told me that you don't live at that property. And typically, when a property is being cited, they look at the tax rolls and they send it to the address that's on the tax roll. So have you registered as a absent? You have.
Do you live at 47 Austin Avenue in
Yes,
Greenville,
yes,
Rhode
I am.
Island? Yes, that's where all the mailings went.
The only problem is that property address is indicated as 50.
So when you in Greenville receive something about 52 Jackson, you think, oh, I don't have to deal with this?
No, I don't even bother reading it because it's
Sir.
probably somebody looking
Sir,
for
that is
variance.
ridiculous. If you get it, because if you own property on the same street, the most logical conclusion is that there is a typographical error between 57 and 52. And if I were a responsible person, I would call the city and say, are you looking for me or is it really 52?
And the moment I saw this letter, I came to the city.
Well, what about the letters before that?
I am not in receivership of anything but the letter you told
That
me
might be it, because this was issued on 2/8. Although, was there a letter before this 3/2?
Yes, Your Honor. The pink copy of this is mailed to that address. And this notice clearly has 57 on it.
Right.
Just a typo in that second letter. But he got
And this is the certified mail strip?
correct. The pink copy of
So,
that.
sir,
letter got
the actual
sent out.
violation was mailed to you certified mail. Was it delivered or undeliverable?
That I don't know.
Didn't come back, so
I
someone
have
put
All right, sir, let's get to the point here. I mean, it seems to me that you're just trying to basically avoid this. So there's junk on property. I don't want your tenants living in squalor. How much time do you need to clean this property?
May I see the pictures, please?
Yes, of course.
I'm not aware of any.
All right, and again, if it's not you, we need a property manager or somebody who can clean that property.
Okay, this is the front entrance of my property.
That's just to show you that it's the property we're talking about.
Yes, and this is compost pile in Central Falls. Why are we talking about the property in Central Falls?
Sir, you can show that you can say anything you wish to the inspector.
Yes. It is Central Falls.
Is this your
It is
property?
It is my property in Central Falls.
Why, does the property span into Central Falls?
Yes, Your Honor. And this is a proof of it.
All right, hold on. If you would just give things through the prosecutor.
Yes, please.
So is the property on both?
It does say he gets a tax bill, but I don't know without.
But you should, actually, isn't it?
All right, hold on.
Know where town lies.
Sir,
Yes.
listen, you need to be a little respectful, okay? If the property, does the property straddle Pawtucket and Central Falls?
Apparently it does, Your Honor.
All right, and
By
is
this
there,
tax bill.
okay. So, now the city, you know, when they're out there inspecting, they may not know exactly where that line is, and if it's partially in Pawtucket, in fact, it's a rare case of that. How does the law fall on that if half the property is in,
Well, that's a good question.
and are the laws different in Central Falls than
No, the laws are
Pawtucket?
the same in Central
Because there's a
Falls.
statewide building code, correct?
Correct, and I am the building official for Central Falls as well. So even if I will look at this, and if I have to recite from Central Falls, I'll do that as well. But I find it odd that it just happens that all the debris is
Yeah,
just
and
in
sir,
Central
listen, I'm
Falls.
concerned with cleaning up the property. I don't want your tenants living in a dump, okay? So whether it's Central Falls or Pawtucket, one of them is going to cite you. My question to you is, how much time do you need to clean up this property?
Just a couple hours.
All right, well, then let's get it going.
No, yesterday I couldn't. Again, I learned about the entire situation 2 days ago.
All right, sir, well, I don't know why, did you not receive this? It was sent certified mail.
Would have been a pink copy.
I don't understand why you didn't, sir, but I understand.
Maybe it's a good eye, but I hope you will not hold it against me.
I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm going to give you 1 week to clean up the property. Nothing seems to be that would take longer than a week. Do you agree with that? You've said all you need is a couple hours. You now have notice. Again, I don't want your tenants living in squalor. I'm going to continue this matter 1 week, which will be 9 and 7 is 16, 3/16/18 status. And, sir, we'll see you back here in 1 week. If it's all complete, I will, you know, take that into consideration that you have cleaned it very quickly, and I will probably not assess any fines, but at least based on these pictures, Mr. Hanley, you can see what's in Pawtucket and within my jurisdiction. And if everything is complete, sir, I perhaps will dismiss the case upon payment of court costs. But let's get the property
Your Honor,
cleaned.
I would cordially request to remove the post-court because the violation is not in Pawtucket. And
Sir,
those
the
pictures
request will be denied. It's $35. If you clean the, first off, if the violations are established, I could even impose fines. So I want you to investigate which of those violations are under my jurisdiction as part of the property in Pawtucket and what the possible fines would be. I can take into consideration in 1 week whether or not I would waive those fines if there are any violations in the city of Pawtucket that I have jurisdiction. If not, sir, you're talking to the building inspector who can cite you in Central Falls as well. So I suspect that the $35 would well be in your interest to just get these matters done and not have to be going to housing court in Central Falls for violations, because there is one statewide property maintenance code. Whatever you have to do in Pawtucket, you're going to have to do in Central Falls. So you're going to get nowhere.
I will not argue with that. Your Honor, those properties, those pictures were taken from the vantage point, which is in Central Falls. Does it consider trespassing?
Does it consider?
Trespassing. The person who took those pictures were on the Central Falls property.
The building inspectors are free to go on property to take pictures.
In any city. So Pawtucket
building
I don't
inspector
know
can
where,
go on
I don't know
Central
where
Falls
the
Road.
Pawtucket building inspector went, but you're free to call the police if you wish to allege any trespassing charges.
I don't know the answer, if Pawtucket inspector can go on Central Falls Road.
Pawtucket inspector can go
That's why I'm-
anywhere a private citizen can go, anywhere in the United States. Also, they have a little bit more in Central Falls, in Pawtucket, but anyone can walk into Central Falls and take pictures.
Not on the private road.
Well, that's up for debate, but if it's,
I don't-
if there's no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we don't,
It's
listen.
It's confusing issue, I'm trying to learn something
Sir,
from this here.
you are free to call the police and allege any trespassing charges you wish, okay? Again, I think, we're being very good to you today, sir. Fix the property, come back in a week. If it's all good, typically we will dismiss these upon payment
Do I
of
need
court
to
costs.
appear,
1 week,
or
yes.
would it be enough to bring photographic evidence?
No, the city will take the photograph. So once you get it, fixed, who is the inspector on this? We'll give you a card with the person to call. Once you get it, because I don't want them to go out if you haven't had an opportunity yet. It'll be a waste of their time. Once you fixed it, you just call the city. The city can go out there. If you're unsure about anything, you can go out there at the same time as the inspector. The inspector will report back to Mr. Hanley, and we'll see you back in 1 week to make sure everything has been corrected. If so, $35 of court costs. If not, we'll deal with it at that time.
Thank you.
All right. Next case.
The inspectors.
All right, we'll see you back in 1 week, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to court.
Thank you. I don't see why you couldn't have a copy.
No, absolutely. Let him see
Do it
what he...
now.
Yeah, just give us a minute, sir, so we can get someone to take those pictures. We'll be off, we only have very few more people, so...
Next case, Your Honor, is WMG Properties, 310 Wheaton Street.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, your name for the record?
Jason Magnan, property manager.
Jason Magnum?
Magnan, N-A-N.
M-A-G-N-A-N, property manager. All right, Mr. Magnan, how long have you been the property manager at 310 Wheaton?
Just about a year.
All right, and Mr. Hanley, smoke detection, is that the...
Smoke detection is the
and
big
a-
issue.
and a
Your Honor.
number
There's
of others.
bunch of, numerous other ones, basic paint and painting, the light switch covers, missing screens.
Is this residential property?
It's a rental property, yes.
Residential
Yeah,
rental,
3
all right.
stories.
And have you made any progress on this long list of violations?
Oh, very much. The landlord, I guess, is in contact with the actual building inspector himself, just managing
This is
over-
the actual building inspector, Mr. Hanley. Mr.
Whoever
Hanley, has the
came out-
property
whoever
owner
came out
been,
to
maybe
the-
the inspector?
Whoever came out to the
All right, sure. Well, Mr. Magnan, I appreciate you being here in court and that you are working with the city. Mr. Hanlon, what is your perspective as to the progress of the repairs on this property?
I'm looking at recent inspections, and I have 2 could not verifies on 220. I had it not corrected, so that's a little less than a month ago. On 37, I also had a could not verify. This is Melissa Leaky's case, and I believe the biggest problem is her getting access to the units. I'm not to confirm if anything has been corrected or not.
So you say a lot has been done? Who
Yes,
has been in
most of
contact
it-
with who, do you think?
I assumed he was, maybe not.
All right, well,
Most
sir.
of the violations we incurred were on the second floor apartment. We had a water leak, the ceiling fell in. That tenant has since been evicted. We refinished the apartment. Somebody else has moved, and they since have been moved out as well.
All right, why don't
So
this...
all of the apartments have been redone. We're currently working on the hallways and
All right.
to the outside
Why,
of the building next.
as the property manager, it's really helpful to me if you're gonna be the one to come to court, that you know exactly who spoke to who. And why don't I put this down for 1 week, and you can go with Melissa Lika, the inspector. She can do a walkthrough, report back to Mr. Hanley. You're welcome to call Mr. Hanley as well, and we'll get back here in a week, figure out what's done, what's not done, and how much time you need. I'm always, as long as people are coming to court and cooperating with the court, I'm usually fairly reasonable. I'll give you the time you need, but I do need the property to come up to the building maintenance code standards. Does that seem reasonable?
Yes.
You available in
and
1
as
week?
yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay.
pretty much on call 24/7.
All right.
So.
So 1 week for status. In the meantime, contact Melissa Lika.
We were, last time, this 2-week postponement was for certificate of the firebox, which I have in my email, which Northeast says they sent to everybody, but nobody seems to have.
Okay, can you
So
forward
I
that to
have
the
it,
city?
So I need some email addresses to.
That's gonna go for the certification of the fire alarm panel. That needs to get to the fire department.
Yeah, I know, they told me, I just wanted to make sure it didn't
So I
get
would-
to anybody here as well.
No, I don't, because they're the ones that are gonna tell me whether it's valid, if
Yeah,
it's approved or not.
they're waiting to
So
know
if
if they're gonna file paperwork on it.
Sure.
or not
If
after
you
it's done or not, so.
physically walk it over there or give,
Oh, yeah,
email
I'm
it to
going there
them?
after that.
Yeah, go here after that. If I
fine.
knew the address, I would give it to you, sir, but I don't know the addresses for the fire
Yeah,
department,
it's
email
different.
addresses.
It's not Pawtucket
No, it's
.com.
not the city, so, it's right next door, just on your
Oh,
way
yeah, I'll
out.
go
Take a
right
walk
in the
over
office
and
and
get
do it
that
right there.
certificate
It's fine.
over to
I
the
just
fire
wanted to make sure
department.
Yeah, because that's where it has to end up.
All right.
over there.
Sir, I'll be on the bench next Friday, so I'll see you back 3:16 status, okay? In the meantime, be sure to contact Melissa Lika, our inspector. Thanks a lot, Mr. Magnin.
Good luck. I think that's a-
All right. That will conclude the housing docket for March 9th. It's about 11:14.